After 3 years of delays, scandal, and obviously incompetence, Donald Trump has unveiled his Middle East peace plan, and it's a disaster. So let's give you the details. According to USA Today, in a surprise move, the initiative called for a two-state solution, an independent Palestine sitting alongside Israel, sharing a capital of East Jerusalem. Details about the initiative's economic proposals, including $50 billion in infrastructure spending and investment over 10 years for the Palestinian territories and neighbors Jordan, Egypt, and Lebanon, have been previously announced. Trump said he wrote to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas saying territory set aside for Palestinian state would remain open for a transition period of 4 years in what amounts to a freeze in Israeli settlement construction. Now, let me just stop and say that Abbas has already responded to this proposal and he is not in favor of it because, as you will see from the details I share with you, it is very much slanted in favor of the Israeli side. The plan would more than double the territory under Palestinian control. It recognizes Israeli sovereignty over major settlement blocks in the West Bank, a scenario many Palestinians will find difficult to accept. The plan will limit Palestinians to specific parts of East Jerusalem and leave Israel in sole charge of holy sites that are sacred to both sides. There's more, but Cenk, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, that part about how it doubles the Palestinian land is massively misleading. So Israel gave back the Gaza Strip, kind of. They don't actually have sovereignty over it. There's blockades and you can't cross the border. If you try to come anywhere near the border, you get executed. And so that's literal, it's happened many times. So they don't actually have sovereignty over it. So, but they're saying, we're going to give you a little bit more than what we gave you when we kind of not really gave you the Gaza Strip. That doesn't mean they're getting double the land that is occupied. No, they're getting less of the land that's occupied. So in fact, I think that's the next part of the explanation.
Yeah.
Let's give you that and then we'll give you the full details.
So according to Time, the size of the Palestinian state is considerably smaller than that proposed in past US mediation efforts. Trump said his plan would more than double Palestinian territory. Under it, however, Palestinians could control some 70% of the West Bank compared with 94 to 96% proposed by Bill Clinton in 2000. So you can understand why Abbas is not in favor of this proposal. In fact, Donald Trump was bragging about how he met with Israeli leaders, including Benny Gantz and Benjamin Netanyahu, in crafting this proposal. But it's pretty clear that Abbas was not invited in the negotiations.
Okay, so it's not like there's things in here that aren't tiny pieces of good news. Hey, it turns out we haven't completely abandoned the two-state solution. And some are now seriously talking about, one-state solution. You just have Israel have all of it, and then the Palestinians get no rights, and we're done with it. What? Okay, so all right, we didn't go to the most extreme, radical, and honestly racist solution that there would be. Okay, then there is Palestinians get East Jerusalem. That's also kind of, because they don't really have authority over the religious sites, which is what they care most about. Now there are parts of the solution that would have to be put into any peace deal, like no right of return. Palestinians desperately want right of return. My guess is at the end of the negotiations, they will not get that because then you can't have all the Palestinians coming back and reclaiming their houses inside Israel or their land inside Israel. Okay, but when you get to the core parts of this deal, they're a total disaster. So you're gonna take 30% of the Palestinians' land in the West Bank? That's insane. They would, all the settlements that were illegal under international law that we considered illegal before Trump, now they're like, oh no, they keep all of that. They stole your land and it's over, and we're not even asking you. And that gets to another core part. Oh, but before I get to the core part of what's wrong with this so-called deal, these so-called negotiations, one other ridiculous part of this deal is, oh no, you don't actually have sovereignty. You will not be able to have your own security forces. And you can't control your own borders.
I mean, this is
well, that means you're not a country. That means you're literally not a country. So in essence, you get absolutely nothing, plus we solidify the 30% of your land that we're taking and it's over, okay? So now the core part of why this is like so horrific that it's comical is they never even asked the Palestinians. This was the Trump administration, a right-wing administration in America, negotiating with the right-wing government of Israel. That's not a peace deal. That's not, the Palestinians weren't even invited. Okay, they get this thing afterwards, and in a press conference with Netanyahu and Gantz. So the Israeli government and American government come out and goes, you know what, man, this is a tough negotiation, but we decided not to include the Palestinians and decided to take 30% of their land and give it to our buddies over here, who are also right-wingers. And Gantz is theoretically more moderate than Netanyahu, but he's part of this process as well. And so the whole thing's a sham. It's absurd. It's like doing a peace deal back in the day with the Soviet Union without involving the Soviet Union. Okay, and here the Palestinians are not the bad guys. They're the ones occupied. They're the ones who have been in this permanent, near state of permanent occupation. They're the ones whose lands have been settled. Okay, now both sides can be good people, obviously, right? Good guys. If they would actually come to the table and do a real two-state solution and actually have peace for Israel and justice for Palestine, but this certainly ain't it.
Of course this isn't it. The United States is not a neutral arbiter, all right? They're not involving the United States to settle some sort of peace deal between the Israeli government and Palestinians is ridiculous. The United States is not objective when it comes to this situation. And so when was the last time the United States executed any type of successful peace deal? With the exception of the Iran nuclear deal, right? But other than that, I mean, in recent history, the United States goes in and purposely destabilizes entire regions of the world for political gain and for financial gain. So look, it's a story today and we have to talk about it, but it's a waste of time because it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's just another example of how the US government will spit in the face of the Palestinians over and over again and then pat themselves on the back because they think they're actually working toward peace.
But there is one really important part of it, and I don't want to leave the story without you knowing that, which is that this is actually a Trojan horse. It's not an attempt to actually genuinely get to a peace deal. Otherwise, they might have invited the other people involved, right? No, it's a way that Netanyahu can do a couple of things. One is distract from his corruption trial that's about to begin and help him, in his mind, politically at home, but also so they could annex the settlements. And so they're saying, oh, well, we offered up a peace deal to the Palestinians and they're the bad guys for not taking it. And part of that is that we get to annex 30% of their land. So we're just doing that right now. And they have 4 years to agree to our annexation. So it's the exact opposite of a peace deal. It's actually to make the occupation of that 30% permanent, permanently take that land. Exact opposite of what would lead to peace for Israel and Palestine.
Don't miss your chance to win a trip to Los Angeles and have dinner with Cenk, Anna, and me. Just head to tyt.com/dinner in LA to register to win. Sign up for a free Aspiration Spend and Save account, register your eligibility, swipe your Aspiration card on daily purchases to gain entries to win a chance to fly to LA and have dinner with the TYT hosts. Not only are you entering to win that dinner in LA with Cenk and Anna and myself, but you're also able to deposit your hard-earned money without it going towards fossil fuel exploration or production. And as a friendly reminder, even if you already have an Aspiration account, you must still first register to be eligible for the sweepstakes.